Shame TV East Watch, your host, you know who it is. I'm coming to you guys on this rainy day. I'm dropping my kids off at a birthday party. It'll be great news if my niece brings them home for me and I don't have to come out in the rain and get them. That would be so beautiful. But anyway, Shame TV East Watch, your host, you know who it is. I'm coming to you just to drop this video on this whole Nipsey Hussle situation. I have a lot of people who are giving me comments, and I appreciate every single one of them, especially the ones that are thought out, even if you're contrary to what the video states, which I don't really care. I always say I'm just sharing information, yo. Like, I didn't make the video. I didn't make the people be there that are there. I didn't ask them to be there. So, I'm not really, it's not really necessarily my opinion except on what I see. And through examining that video, I don't even know how many times, before I put it up, I said, yeah, it looks like something shady is going on here. And so we get this report that Eric Holder is steadfast in his stance, saying that, first off, he's not even supposed to be in jail because he was basically promised that whatever happened, he would be okay. And also, he's saying that the LAPD or someone who is allegedly a spokesman, an officer, whoever, owes him $75,000, and they owe him freedom for what he did. So, a long story short, the killer, the alleged killer, the person that everybody is attaching guilt to, the person that everybody is, without question, is in a consensus saying that this individual is the individual on the videotape, that this individual is the individual who fired the shots and killed the brother, this is the individual who ran off. Which means this is the same individual who was whispered to by appeared to be older white gentleman prior to the shooting, and I mean minutes prior to the shooting. So if Eric Holder is telling me that he's owed freedom because the people that he actually did the crime for owe him $75,000 and they're the police, who am I to fucking say that that's wrong? Why does that sound crazy to me? Now, do you think that I think single-handedly it's merely the police that is attempting to kill Nipsey Hussle? No, of course not. For generation and generations, they'll always be the same. The police are nothing but many mercenary minions. All right? Most of them are dudes who were just regular guys and then became tough guys once they became cops, alleged tough guys, because most of the time they're jumping people or beating people once cuffed, which shows me right then and there you're nowhere near as tough as you're presenting or pretending to be. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that the brother is Nipsey Hussle is being killed for a reason that a lot of people don't think is important. And a lot of times when we deal with reality, you're dealing with reality. You're dealing with situations where what appears to be the reason and could and should be the reason, it's not all the time the reason. It's like, yeah, I would kill somebody for A, but I wouldn't kill nobody for B. But a lot of times the people that we're dealing with will kill you for B and push the A narrative so that you don't concentrate on B. And the reason why I put in the video that you're dealing with a decline in the white population in centralization of resources. They're coming back to cities. White people are moved. The great expansion is over, and these people are now coming back to the cities. All right? Then one of the main reasons is because their population is declining. So therefore, they're going to have to centralize, and in white rage and white hate, typical white hate mind, they're going to, mobilize and assume somebody's trying to kill them, et cetera, et cetera. But That's what they're doing. They're attempting to centralize in the cities, in the metropolis areas. So one of the biggest weapons that Europeans have always had has been the ability to control where everybody is. All right? It was the same thing when they went through what is called the project, where a lot of people grew up. The projects. That was what it was. It was titled correctly. It was a project. It was a project in that was only able to be put in place because you can control where the population lives through gentrification. So when they wanted everybody, all the black people, to stay in the city areas where they can control them and put them in these buildings, high rises, et cetera, and watch them tear themselves apart after they stop providing jobs, letting them get jobs or whatever that they are qualified for, just giving them away to white people, et cetera, those type of things. Which is why we need reparations, just for that shit alone. For all those things that were happening in the Great Expansion when white people moved out to the suburbs and we weren't allowed. Now with the population declining, they're trying to use that same power again to say, hey, it's time for us to centralize and mobilize in these metropolis areas and in these cities. That's why if you go to Virginia, North Carolina, Delaware, all across the coast in any city areas, they're building up high-rise apartments for Europeans to move back into. Condos, etc. That's what they're doing. And so Nipsey Hussle was directly interfering with that by assisting people in keeping and buying their own land, their own property right there in the neighborhood, like he was doing, buying property in the neighborhood. That's what got that dude murdered, in my opinion. Because with their population decline and them needing to centralize, they ain't got time for nobody, no brother with influence and actually helping people keep their property, teaching them how. Not letting the corner store go to a chink or an Arab and black people owning it. Like stuff, shit like that. Nah, they didn't have time for that. He had to go for that. And that's my opinion of it. So that's my opinion of why that white man was whispering to him.